like 2 weeks later, I was like, buddy, when are your Nikes coming in? And he was like, Mom, it was on Fortnite.
Oh.
I thought they were real shoes. This is like such a mom.
Oh my gosh.
Is that what mewing is? I have never heard that.
I can't mew.
Wait,
I'm not,
for real?
I can't. I'm like...
Are you mewing or are you doing the pout?
In a city of strangers, appearance is the only dimension available for the rapid assessment of others. Thus, it becomes incredibly important in defining value.
This like first thought about a woman that you see, what's your second thought? Is your second thought to go deeper into that thought? Or is your second thought, I shouldn't think that way about her. She's a woman of God.
They're talking to you about something? Tell me more about that. Say more about that. Like when someone has said that to me, I'm like, oh, and another layer has been unlocked. There you go.
Epic Games lays off 1,000 employees, Gen Z is posing like a platypus, and BTS releases their first album since 2020. Welcome to the Roundtable. I'm CJ Fant, and I'm here today in the studio with Irene Tucker, and across the waves of the internet is Jenna Mindell. How's everybody doing today? We feeling good?
It's like summer outside. I am filled with joy.
Yeah, in some ways, there's a little bit of dread there that it's March and 85 degrees in Colorado.
Well,
but
like in like a week, we're going to get a blizzard.
do you feel dread that it's 85 degrees in California, Jenna, or?
No, because it's 73 degrees.
Oh, it's colder in California than in Colorado in March.
I know, but Jenna posted a picture like 2 weeks ago on Slack, and she was on a pier with the water, and we were in a blizzard. So I feel like,
it's good.
It's your time to shine, guys.
That's good. Anyway, that's our allotted weekly banter.
That's it. No more.
That's all you'll be hearing from me.
Yeah, we've got a rotating cast of hosts as Evan is doing very important things right now. Well, that's all I'll say. He's on assignment.
Don't worry. Tobin already let the cat out of the bag. He was like, Evan had a baby.
Yeah. Like I said, he's on a very important assignment. I got to see him this week. I love their little family. We love you, Evan.
We love you, Evan.
We're
I know
excited.
You're not listening. But...
We're excited to get to do this and let you be a dad. Anyway, this week's resource of the week is a little different this week, and we're shouting out our friends over at The Pour Over. The Pour Over is a free Christ-centered newsletter that focuses on quick, unbiased news paired with biblical reminders. And I actually think everyone on this podcast is subscribed to their newsletter. Irene, we were chatting a little bit about this before, but I know that you're a fan of The Pour Over.
I love The Pour Over. You know what I was thinking that it was like? Do you know the scene in Devil Wears Prada where Anne Hathaway is
I've never seen that movie. I'm sorry to tell you this.
Behind
Wait,
Meryl
CJ,
Streep.
are you serious?
I've never seen the Devil Wears Prada.
Okay, that's crazy. We'll have to come back to that.
Yeah, we'll circle back.
Anne Hathaway standing behind Meryl Streep, and she's whispering like all of the people's names and who they are and what they do. That's like what The Pour Over is for me. It's like I get a complete list of everything that is happening. That way, if I have to talk about sports with CJ, I can be like, hey, did you know that baseball is back? And occasionally I'll get it right if I read The Pour Over, you know?
It's the culture translator, but for us, for news.
Yes.
Because we focus on weird TikTok trends.
Exactly.
And people making platypus faces. And they focus on
CJ.
What's happening in the
world,
in news and those sorts of things.
Yeah, but really, I love The Pour Over. Like, it is a perfect readability.
Yeah.
It doesn't take too long, and you really do get a good idea of what's happening around the world in the news.
Yeah,
it's great.
It's that gif from, I believe, Predator, where it's Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I'm spacing on his name. He's in I'm spacing on his name anyway, but
we're such like culture geeks because
we
just compared The Pour Over to Devil Wears Prada and Predator.
Well, there's the part where they clasp hands and they like flex their biceps, and that's us in The Pour Over. That's how I
love
feel.
It.
Yeah.
I love it.
Anyway,
we love The Pour Over.
nailed this read.
I hope they're listening because
anyway, you can check out The Pour Over. And the great work they do using the link in our show notes. But yeah, that's it for our resource of the week. First up in the top 3 this week, Epic Games, the company behind Fortnite, is cutting 1,000 employees, citing declining popularity and increased costs. While the Battle Royale mode of the game is enduringly popular, it's not as popular as it was in, say, 2020. in the middle of the pandemic when everybody was at home playing Fortnite. While this could be a reason, it's also hard to not notice all the money Epic spent on splashy marketing partnerships with Apple, Disney, with Disney, Lego, and Netflix. They didn't make a partnership with Apple. That was a Freudian slip. We'll probably talk about Apple a little bit later. And the cost of V-Bucks has also gone up last year and is about to increase again, which to me proves that nothing, even fake currency, is immune to inflation.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's wild.
I could probably monologue about this for a bit, and I might, but I prefer not to. What do you guys think? You don't like my pregnant pauses?
Pregnant pauses.
You ever heard that phrase?
I have,
it's
but I just don't like it.
When you hear this, what do you think could be the cause of Fortnite's decline? Either of you,
Well, I stopped playing Fortnite a couple months ago, so I'm sure that probably contributed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask
Jenna and Parker.
You've mentioned that you and Parker got into Fortnite.
We did. We played it on our Switch all the time, but then we did it too much, and we were like, we're adults. We need to stop. Video games are a fun way to get out of your head, and I think oftentimes can be better than just like scrolling because you can play with friends and things like that. But it just kind of turned into like this is like so deep and unnecessary.
I love it.
But just like another way to avoid pain was just like, I can just play this game and like not think about what's happening, blah, blah, blah. So I try to instead read because that helps me like do the kind of avoid my pain also, but at the same time, get my homework done kind of thing. It's honestly more of a time thing for me just with starting grad school.
Yeah.
I feel like in the summertime, I'll probably pick it up again because that feeling of getting that dub, like there's truly nothing like it. And Fortnite is so fun. And I'm like bad at video games. I've always been very bad at them. And I had brothers that were playing for hours a day. And that was never me. I was always a Fortnite and Minecraft girl. I'm very simple. But that's my Fortnite journey.
I haven't played Fortnite. Like my kids will ask me to play certain video games, and that was just not one that I played. I observed. And then my only real reference for like the V-Bucks is I remember one time my son Chandler had told me about some Nikes that he bought. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. I can't wait to see him. And he didn't like respond to that. And then like 2 weeks later, I was like, buddy, when are your Nikes coming in? And he was like, Mom, it was on Fortnite.
Oh.
I thought they were real shoes. This is like such a mom
oh my gosh
moment. I was so confused.
To be fair, if he didn't say it was in a game, I would be confused by that.
Yeah,
right.
That's very valid,
also, to be fair,
he could have, and I could have missed it.
That specific like skin in Fortnite, the Nikes were very funny because you could put them on basically any other skin, and so it'd be like you just have this like random character from a TV show, and then they just have these red Nikes. Like J's on.
Yeah, that's
and there was a lot of very good pictures from like random.
Yes.
So. Jenna, it's interesting. I don't want to like plug another one of Axis's podcasts, but I know that in the upcoming weeks, there will be an interview with Evan and I where we talk about video games. And one of the things that Evan asks me is he talks a lot about like, when is escapism good in games versus when is it like not necessarily great? Like, because sometimes when you engage with media, you're escaping from your life so that you can hopefully go back into your life like better equipped. But sometimes you're just avoiding your life. And where is that line? We spent a long time talking about that. So if you're curious about that conversation, because Jenna, you brought that up a little bit. I do wonder, Jenna, a little bit if like, let's say in 2020, you were 16. Now you're 22. And so maybe some of the decline in Fortnite is a little bit of what Jenna said, where she's like, I'm an adult now. But I am curious a little bit. We kind of referenced that, young people are still drawn to the competitors in the space like Roblox. Here's my little rant. So Tim Sweeney is the head of Epic Games. And Epic Games is a big company. They do more than Fortnite. And one of the things they do is they create one of the most prolific engines. So an engine for games is basically like the tools you use to make games. And so they have a tool called Unreal Engine 5 that they take a cut of everyone who uses it. So if a game uses Unreal Engine 5 as like its framework and it's the tool system to create the game, then Epic gets a cut of that. So a lot of the most prolific games right now are made on Unreal Engine 5. Like, that's just
Interesting.
full stop. Like, we talked about a little bit last year. One of the most popular and most critically acclaimed games of last year was Clair Obscur Expedition 33. That was an Unreal Engine 5 game.
Okay.
And so if that game's popular, Epic profits more from that.
Sure.
Kind of a classic model.
Makes sense.
And so they make money. It's not like, oh, Fortnite's doing, like, Fortnite made them a lot of money.
1,000 people is crazy.
So I want to quote from Kyle Gratton at Games Radar. I went and looked up a quote of this, but he has this. He quotes Tim Sweeney as saying, "In being the industry's vanguard," Sweeney writes, this is Kyle Gratton, "we have taken a lot of bullets in our battle, which is only in the early days of paying off for ourselves and all our developers." And Kyle Gratton says, here he seems to be referencing Epic Games' lawsuit against Apple and Google, which very broadly speaking, aim to allow developers to circumvent restrictions on in-app purchases and the revenue cuts digital storefronts owners receive from them. So this is very inside baseball. I talk about the games industry a lot. I pay attention to it. But basically, in like 2021, 2022, Epic started suing Apple and Google because if Chandler goes on, your son Chandler, goes on to his phone and buys V-Bucks for Fortnite on his phone, Apple gets a 30% cut of that purchase.
Oh, wow.
Which is
That's big.
substantial.
That's not small.
But Epic sees that as like, we're losing 30% of our money if you buy it on, you know, a Sony platform like the PS5 or an Apple platform like your iPhone.
Yeah.
And so in that way, they're suing Apple because they want more of their own money. But that costs Epic a ton of money to do. And those lawsuits haven't been going well. So in some ways, I'm like, it bothers me that the people who have made Fortnite, who have made this game that is really beloved by a lot of people, like, I think a lot of the students I know who are, you know, now entering into adulthood, that's like their childhood. They like see that as like this nostalgic, like they have this joy and this love of this game. The people who made that Fortnite are, from my perspective, it looks like they're losing their job because of kind of Tim Sweeney's choice to fight against Apple and Google. It's not anything to do with the quality of the game. It's not anything to do with the quality of their work. And that's frustrating. Like,
I was going to say, well,
that bothers me a little bit. Yeah. Now, does that affect a teen's life? I'm not sure, but it's just part of the news story to me.
Yeah.
And that just bothers me. Like, I'm like, it feels like the people who have done the hard work are suffering while the people who are kind of at the top are, you know, like making those decisions. It's frustrating to me.
That sucks.
Yeah, I think it's just a sign of the times. I think one of the things, and I'll relate the conversation starter to this as well. I don't know if there ever will be the perpetual game that will last forever and people won't get sick of it ever. And I think Fortnite was that for a generation. I think World of Warcraft was that for a generation. I think, you know, I'm trying to think of one that maybe would be for my generation. And it might be like a League of Legends or a Dota or something like that, where people still play these games. Fortnite probably won't ever go away, at least for the next 20 years. Yeah. Like, people will continue to play it.
Is it kind of like in the like Minecraft class?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe Minecraft actually for my generation too. That could be one where it like kind of will always be popular. And so, but I think companies that assume that a game will always be popular, will always be as popular as it was in 2020, I think that's a little short-sighted. Right. I think people will try to find new experiences. It's how humans work. We crave new, different experiences.
Yeah.
And so the conversation starter I was thinking of with this was, do you think there's a game that could be popular forever? What would that look like? And I think if you have a gamer in your house, like, that might be a very interesting question to ask and get their opinion.
That's fun. Yeah. Like a game of cards is probably what I would say. Because there's like so many different options.
Were you saying video games or games in general?
I was thinking video games, but I like Jenna's answer, so leave it broad.
Let's take out some rummy or something. I like that.
I'm already bored.
You know.
Too much of a... That's my conversation starter. Do you think there's a game that could be popular forever? What would that look like?
Love it.
This podcast is made possible because of our generous donor community, which is called The Table. Tables represent many wonderful things in our world. They stop gravity from pulling our food and drinks clattering down into the floor. Aslan died on a table for the sins of Narnia. Tables provide a place to break bread and converse with the ones we love. And now, The Table is helping us support more parents and caring adults through culture translation. If you'd like to learn more about that, click the link in the show notes. We want you to know that week in, week out, our goal is to be there for you, helping to research culture, helping to create conversation starters, having intentional conversations. So if this is helpful for you, we'd love to invite you to be a part of what we're doing, to subscribe, share with someone who could benefit, and let us know what you think.
Next up, while duck lips had their era as the preferred selfie posed, no longer. The so-called Gen Z Pout started on red carpets and is now finding its way into selfies. And hardly surprising, people on TikTok have opinions about it. Jenna, can you help explain the draw of this specific facial contortion? And how do platypuses play into it? I looked it up. Just to be clear, the plural of platypus is platypuses. And fun fact, a group of platypuses is a puddle.
A
puddle of platypuses.
Who comes up with those? I love it.
I will say the platypus is my favorite animal. When people ask me, and usually they're under the age.
They're so fascinating. Do you know that they can glow? Is that that's crazy?
They hunt with like electrical current. Like it's
God was in a playful mood when he was
they're
platypus.
doing stuff. So whenever like an 8-year-old or younger asks me what my favorite
platypus is a great. Curious, real quick, before we talk about
Jenna.
the
Wait
lips.
a second. I'm just kidding.
Oh, now I forgot what I was going to say. Dang.
I'm sorry.
I was so ready. I was really curious about something. And
about platypuses?
About platypi. Is that not real? That's not a real thing?
All language is made up. That's usually what I say. As Thor in Avengers Endgame said, all words are made up. The great philosopher Thor, played by Chris Hemsworth. So I think it is like, when I looked it up online, that people were like, it's kind of like people are thinking it's a Latin word, but it's not. Like, so, like platypus is just a word. I don't know where the term platypus comes from. But yeah, it is platypuses. Jenna, can you explain the draw of this facial expression for
I can.
Photos?
It is a challenge for those who are not watching our podcast.
You have to. So if you're going to do it for the video listeners, you have to describe it for our audio listeners.
It is hard to not laugh, so just give me a second.
Okay. She's covering her face.
Literally can't.
we should describe her.
She's not nonchalant. Oh, that's good.
Oh yeah, it's like a smaller duck.
Yeah,
with a longer face. Right?
I think if I really sat with it, I could make something happen.
Yeah, so it kind of just looks like Jenna is pouting, but she's not like mad. She's like a model, but pouting. That's the way I would describe it for our audio listeners. What's the difference? This is CJ's question. That feels a little bit like extended mewing. Like mewing is this thing where you put your tongue at the top of your mouth and it helps refine your jaw. Like it feels a little bit like mewing to me. Am I crazy?
Is that what mewing is?
Similar.
I have never heard that.
I can't mew.
Wait,
I'm not like
for
I can't.
real?
I can't. I'm like.
This is me right now. Wait, allow me.
This plays so well for our audio.
Are you mewing or are you doing the pout?
The pout. See, the pout needs to the issue is I don't have lip filler, and it would look better if I had that. Yeah. So we'll get into that in a second.
Yeah.
So duck lips were once, the preferred selfie pose for teenage girls. If you're not familiar, that's just pursing your lips together, pushing them out.
Yeah.
This would be if everyone wants to do their preferred duck lips. Just maybe when I cut the reels for this, everyone kind of do their best.
Ready, set, go. I don't know where we're supposed to look.
Amazing.
The guys don't do duck lips. I don't know why I did that.
I missed yours. Can you do it again?
No.
Do it one more time, please.
So the duck lip pose usually is kind of expressing joy or happiness, excitement, that sort of thing. Even now when my friends pull out their phone to take a picture, I'm scrunching my lips, I'm ready for my picture. And it's kind of nice. I have this philosophy with taking photos. I don't know if you guys agree with this, but I would rather make a face like that than really try to look cute, because then what if I try to look cute and then I look terrible in the photo? Fail. I would rather kind of just be make a silly face kind of thing. That's my vibe.
It feels safe to have a pose you go to if someone pulls out a camera.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because I don't, and I look like an idiot in a lot of photos.
My daughter called me out on that once, though.
Oh, okay.
She did. She was because I took individual, I don't know, they were Polaroids or something with all the boys. And I just smiled like normal. And then with her, we got cute, did our cute poses. And then she was like, you don't look happy in the one that you took with me because you have to do the cute. And I was like, you're right. So ever since then, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna smile and be happy and not try and pose.
It's a great approach. But I think because like CJ said when he was introducing the topic, this kind of like started on red carpets with different celebrities. A couple examples, if you want to look them up yourself, we have them linked in the Culture Translator, like specific photos. So if you find yourself a little curious, Lily Rose Depp has done this, Maddie Ziegler, and Ariana Greenblatt, I think is how you say her name.
I think I said blot when I did the audio, so sorry.
Sorry, Ariana.
It's okay. If you're listening, Ariana, we're sorry.
That was kind of my thought. I was like, she's probably not going to hear this.
She gets pinged on like the Google notifications about yourself.
Oh my gosh, bye.
Lily Rose Depp like kind of classically has a very like pouty face, I would say. Like she's the one I know off the top of my head because she's an actress. Kind of often cast for her very like Victorian, like kind of wispy look.
Yeah.
Right? Like she was in Nosferatu and like kind of was very like, she just looks like she just looks like she hasn't slept.
Stone. And tired. Yeah.
Yeah, she looks like she hasn't slept. And that's very much a style of look that is like popular.
On purpose, yeah.
Jenna, keep going. I'm sorry. We keep interrupting you.
Oh, it's okay. So really duck lips were a thing kind of like in early social media days. That was just like a go-to pose that people went to. And because of when kind of like social media started in the 2010s, millennials were really the ones that paved the way in terms of internet culture. But now Gen Z is kind of making fun of millennials. They're just a really easy target. And as a Gen Zer myself, I have millennial siblings or siblings that are like really close to kind of like the Gen Z line. So I am probably more empathetic than the average Gen Zer that I see because I love my millennial siblings. I love their weird zoom-ins that they do, their sense of humor.
Thanks, Jenna.
I think they're very pure. And I love specifically a millennial woman who's gone to therapy. My favorite woman to be around. Love them. I feel so safe.
Oh my gosh, you're so wild.
I love making fun of millennials, so it's great.
Where do you
I loved the trend when we were making fun of the millennial burger joint.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, wait, talk about the millennial burger joint, because our listeners will definitely be able to tell what you're talking about.
There was a trend. It was probably like a year ago now, which it feels like it was, but it was like this song by this kind of guy who makes kind of parody songs. Uh-huh. And it sounded like a Fun song. Like if you remember the band Fun, the We Are Young song. And it was like, and people were like, we do things a little differently here at this burger joint. And it's like, there's chalkboard on the walls and people are wearing black gloves to make your burger. Everything is $17.
It's like industrial.
It's industrial design. And
you pay for everything separately and it's like $28.
Yeah, you're like, wait, I don't get fries with my $28 burger?
Yes. Yeah. And I'm like, the burger is always the most ridiculous thing you've ever had. And you will, if Evan was here, he would attest to this. You just immediately fall asleep after you eat it. Like it makes you so
they
sleepy.
They had a spot like that in town.
Oh, there's so many spots in Colorado Springs that
closed down over
are that way. Yeah. Anyway, I appreciate poking fun at millennial culture as someone who's like right on the line. Definitely.
Which one? What?
I am a millennial. I'm not going to pretend.
That's what I thought. You spoke about them as if they were other.
So the cutoff from generations.
You spoke about them as if they were other.
I am othering
Not you
millennials.
otherizing millennials.
We've lost the plot on the Pout.
I'm so sorry.
I did have the question in here I was going to ask. Irene, how do we make this conversation about millennials?
Done.
So we did that. We accomplished that.
I can circle back.
Yeah, keep going, Jenna. Did you have more you wanted to explain?
Yeah, so even though millennials contributed a lot to internet culture, now Gen Z is dogging on them. And they've been doing it for a while. And this is kind of just another iteration of that. So really the reason why millennials are made fun of is that they're not afraid of being cringe. But for teens specifically and Gen Z, like young adults, being overly earnest or excited about anything is a death sentence.
Isn't that wild?
And so you'll kind of notice with Gen Z trends, they're often rooted in looking effortlessly good. One example of this is like the clean girl aesthetic, where like you're putting in a ton of effort into looking really clean and put together, but you're not, like you wouldn't want to have people know that you're doing that, if that makes sense. Like
the no makeup look.
Exactly. That kind of trend is an example of this, of like, you look effortlessly good. You don't need to wear makeup.
But it took you
versus
3
like,
hours
if we
to get
talk
ready.
about millennial makeup in 2016, Mama was doing insane eyebrows every single day. And she wanted everyone to know that she was using her pomade, her Anastasia brow pomade.
Don't dog on Anastasia. She's
No, girl, I was there. I was just in high school. I was doing the same thing. Okay.
We love her.
We love her. So, yeah, just thinking about this trend, it makes me like my little heart for my Gen Alpha girls, because I think the oldest Gen Alpha right now is 16 years old, right, CJ?
Yeah, it's around that age. It depends on where people
great.
draw the line, but Gen Alpha, I would say, is starting high school.
Yes.
And Gen Alpha makes fun of Gen Z, and they cannot handle it, and that makes me laugh.
It's so
yes,
that's good.
the cycle is already starting.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, wow.
This is why you
This
should
hurts.
have compassion and care about the people who are younger than you, because you will grow into a curmudgeon who's like, what are the kids doing these days? Like, and they're just mad at everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
So in addition to just the awkwardness and difficulty and exhaustion of being a teenager, they feel like they have to act detached from everything, including their selfies. So it makes sense, why they'd rather pout than smile, or just like make the kind of earnest, cutesy duck face. They want to look detached and decisively uninterested. The Washington Post talked about this trend, and they said that it kind of gives an attitude of fine, take your picture, which I think just is like so teenage angst. Like, that totally makes sense.
Fine, take your picture.
Yeah.
I opened up the article by Shane O'Neill in the Washington Post, and it's perfect because there's that line, and then right underneath it is a picture of Lily Rose Depp, and she really looks like she's saying, fine, take the picture. Like, she looks mad.
She looks so annoyed.
She looks,
and it's like, Mama, you're a millionaire on a red carpet.
Yeah, she looks mad that she's at the photo section of the red carpet, and that's what she's there for.
That's so
and I appreciated that take of like, fine, take your picture. Like, that's a good way to describe it, of like,
for sure.
Just kind of looks a little frustrated.
Yeah. It's a big thing on TikTok right now that people are talking about, of like, a lot of girls are like, I can't make that face. Like, my lip doesn't look like that. And I've seen videos of girls talking about like the popularity of it is contributed to lip flips. If you guys have heard of this.
It's
so that's just when you get more lip filler in your upper lip, and it kind of like hangs over your bottom lip a little bit. And so I think that is shaping the standard as well, because a lot of celebrities get that done. I know where I live in Orange County, even, I was talking with one of my Young Life girls last night about this trend, and she was like, oh yeah, like the girls at school that have lip filler, like all look like that. And I was
in
like,
high school?
There's girls like at your
No
high
way.
school that have that. And she was like, oh yeah, everyone like
Jenna,
has
are you
that.
for
And I was
real?
like, oh my gosh.
Girls in high school have lip filler?
Girl, welcome to Newport Beach. I think it's worth being curious about. Like,
yes.
Okay, that's a much nicer way to put. I was having a physical reaction to something.
Oh no, my immediate response is some expletives. So it's okay.
Thank God.
Like, and this is kind of the question I wanted to ask, to hopefully turn it into just more than a conversation about a trend, right? What is the best way to help walk our young people through this feeling of always being perceived? Like, how do we help them through that? Because honestly, as an adult, it's part of my job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Irene, we've talked about this. We're on camera for our job a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it can get a little stressful sometimes, where you're like, I have to show up and look prepared to be on camera.
And you feel very
like,
seen.
Will people be mad about my UCCS sweater or whatever, or like, my hair looks weird today. I have a pimple on my nose. Like, how do we help young people walk through those feelings of like, no matter where I go, someone will pull out, someone will probably take a picture of me. Someone will probably video it, and it's not like it's not like they think of that as the bad thing. Maybe I'm projecting, but it's not that they think that that's the bad thing, but the thing that they're thinking about constantly is, I have to be ready for that. How do we help disciple young people in that?
That's really tough in a generation where, like, again, you're doing the meta glasses and everything is online. Like, there's no escape from being looked at or seen. And I think we had the luxury, you and me, CJ, of not experiencing that to a degree that they have to.
Yeah.
And so it feels like unfamiliar territory, even as a parent, to be able to walk them through that. I don't know, Jenna, I feel like you're kind of on the cusp of both generations. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would say for parents, I think the main thing that you can do to make your kids feel like you aren't constantly perceiving them is to not make comments about strangers. I think that is really huge. I think I've had family members where I'm hanging out with them and they're making comments about people. We're driving by, oh, that person is XYZ at the grocery store. Oh, that person's XYZ. And I think that instills an anxiety that people are doing that for you. And so I think that's one really easy way to do that is to just notice like that those thoughts are coming up when you're in public and just being conscious to like not share that judgment with your kid. Because a lot of times, and my mom has done this sometimes, and I would call her out on it in high school and she would say, just an observation. Just an observation. And I was like, hey, if someone had made that observation to my face, I would feel hurt. So I'm not, let's not do that.
Yeah.
Not to dog on my mom. That also I just think is funny. Because I know for a lot of people, they're just thinking out loud like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Because that's what their mom said. And that's what their mom said. Like it just goes back. And I think I just saw this TikTok earlier this week. And it was like a teenager talking about just like the stress of like being perceived all the time. And then in the video, they were like, well, like people always say like, you don't like people aren't going to remember you. People aren't judging you in public. Like you're just kind of projecting that. They were like, no, but I do that to other people. So like, I know they're doing that to me. Like people kind of say that. And so I think it really comes down to like your experience of other people. Like that is a projection that you are judging somebody who the way that their body looks, you think that then your body is going to be judged by them. Oh yeah. And so I think that is the biggest piece because I've had friends who have had parents that were very judgmental to other people and they acted that way to me and to my friends. Like commenting I can think of friends who didn't and acted accordingly.
Are you like, okay, so can you go a little bit further for me? Like if you were to say like, oh my gosh, she's too skinny or what is she wearing or stuff like that. Is that what you mean?
I want to talk about this because part of it is also encouraging young people to not do that themselves. Yeah. And, and I think you kind of said that because it is a little bit like, as parents, you can only control your behavior at some point.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
And so it begins with us making the healthy change to say, I need to stop judging people on how they look as quickly, is maybe the way to put it.
Yeah.
But then when you do that, then you can encourage your young person, hey, maybe that's not the first way we think about people. Maybe that's not the first thing we notice. Or maybe it is, but maybe we keep that inside and say, that doesn't necessarily define who they are. That doesn't necessarily mean something substantial about them.
Yeah.
Like, and so.
I mean, I'm like learning a lot about the beauty industry and toxic beauty standards right now. And that is hard for me to hear that it has gone that far. Yeah. So, but how to filter those thoughts and maybe have more of a private conversation with your kid about, hey, maybe lip filler is a choice you should make when you're a little bit older and you've grown into your face.
Yeah. Jenna, I did cut you off. Was there something that I stopped you from saying?
Oh, it's okay. I just have a really good quote in this book I'm reading, so I'm trying to find it. Okay. So just give me a second.
While Jenna's looking for that quote, one thing I was thinking as well is I wonder if there's a world where we can create spaces inside of our homes where it's like camera free. Like I know it sounds a little strange, but I was just thinking about like the thing that Irene and I didn't deal with when we were kids was like, we've joked about this, that like the camera came out on December 25th and it sat in a single place and it filmed us for 7 hours while we opened Christmas gifts, right? And it's like, why did we just hit play and like, it's 4 hours of nothing happening.
Rewatch that. I mean,
but like nowadays with great intention, parents are constantly taking photos of their children. Mm-hmm. And so kids learn from a very early age that they're on camera. And they take that into their adolescence and into their high school years and into their adult years. And so I think that's like part of it that maybe like, I'm not saying don't take photos of your adorable 4-year-old, but I am saying that maybe when they're 14, they might not want that constantly being a thing that might happen. And I might sound a little judgy here, but I mostly am just like asking.
I know you're being judgy, CJ.
Yeah, I want to ask the question of like maybe that would be worth it to create a space where it's like I won't take
Less
a picture
surveillance.
of you. Yeah, like I won't take a picture of you if like you're in our house, and you don't take a picture of me unless we talk about it first, or you ask, or whatever it is. Jenna, I want to hear this amazing quote.
Yes, so I'm reading this book right now because I'm working on a resource for Access coming soon. I won't give any more spoilers, but I'll just tell you the title and then you can probably figure it out. It's called Reviving Ophelia, Saving the Selves of Adolescent Girls. So it's written by a therapist. It was written in the 90s, and then this is a new edition that she edited in 2019. So it's a little bit more updated with like the internet and things like that. But I think her comment about appearance is really interesting and can kind of circle back to the tip that I gave earlier about not making comments about other people's bodies. Okay, so she says, this emphasis on appearance was present when I was a girl, but girls experienced increased pressure to be thin by the 1990s. We had moved from communities of primary relationships in which people know each other to cities full of secondary relationships. In a community, appearance is only one of many dimensions that define people. Everyone knows everyone else in different ways over time. In a city of strangers, appearance is the only dimension available for the rapid assessment of others. Thus, it becomes incredibly important in defining value. So I think when we think about that, we all have different biases, but the most important thing, and I was talking with one of my Young Life girls about this last night, is like noticing your first thought, but then your second thought is really your character. So it's like, my first thought is, oh, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to just like make up judgmental thoughts. Sorry. So
yeah, no, you're good.
You see someone, you make a snap judgment about them. Your second thought would be, oh, that makes sense. Like my parents told me that about that group of people, or, oh, that person hurt. Like there was a person like that hurt me, or I knew a woman that had a facelift that was really shallow. So that woman that has that is there for that. Like it's really easy to just fill things in that way. And so I think there's like really rich, this is a really rich area for conversation with teens, because especially for teen girls, the most like the thing they're thinking about constantly is their appearance, opening their phone, checking Snapchat, checking their camera, checking that they look okay. I'll just be at campaigners and we're doing Bible study and they just pull out their phone and check. I'm like, girl, it's just 3 of us. We're just sitting in my living room. It's okay. You don't need to like check. But there's the sense of like, there could be a picture taken anytime. So you need to be camera ready. So I love what you're saying, CJ, of like creating spaces where they don't have to worry about their appearance. And even just like trying not to make judgments about your kids' choices. I remember my parents would kind of like make fun of the clothes that I would wear in high school because it was very like 2016 artsy. I'm wearing like a Van Gogh t-shirt and like 90s jeans and like Converse. And like, I just remember them like not understanding why I was wearing high-waisted jeans. They're like, what? Like, I don't get that.
Yeah.
And I remember just feeling kind of self-conscious about that. And that makes me sad looking back. And I know they had no ill intention at all. But it's just like those little comments, like your kids remember, whether you make them to them or if you make them about other people too.
Yeah, I think to that point, Jen, I think probably everyone has those little comments that someone made without any ill intent that like have stuck with us. Like for me, it was my friends' grandmothers who would be like, you need to eat more. Like they would try to feed me more as like, hey, your skinniness is a problem. And I that still sticks with me to this day, you know? Like, and we
all have those things.
Yeah. And so one of the things, we'll go to the conversation starter in 1 second. I really love one of the most helpful things in terms of like Christian discipleship is that thing you said about the second thought. Because this is a weird left turn, but when I talk to young men about lust, that's a thing I talk about a lot.
You could totally apply that.
If you have this like first thought about a woman that you see, what's your second thought? Is your second thought to go deeper into that thought? Or is your second thought, I shouldn't think that way about her. She's a woman of God or whatever it is, you know? Like, and that second thought is so important because I think it comes up when you think about people who have like prejudice and bias against maybe a specific people group that they struggle with feeling safe. And then they're like, wait, is that right? You know, and I'm like, that's the thing that's where the Lord is redeeming us. That's where the Lord is helping us understand. Here is the moment that I'm fighting against my flesh and my, you know, who like my fallen nature.
Exactly.
Jenna,
because it's not helpful to just say like, you are being biased or prejudiced toward these people. Like that's not going to cause change in anyone. But that second thought thing is so helpful because you don't have to like I think what happens with Christians so often is like we have this really high moral standard, and then when we don't meet that, we're like, well, I can't even try. Like, that's just too hard.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Right.
And the second thought allows our flesh to just be our flesh.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we're at right now in our spiritual development. And that's okay.
Yeah.
God doesn't want us to stay there. So that's why we have the second thought of like, okay, God, I need to work on this. I need to sit with you and why I have these certain biases or different things. But I think so often we just like are addressing like, make your first thought perfect. And it's like, you have like, there's a reason why you're having these thoughts. They're coming from somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to address the root.
Yeah. And the hope is that eventually if you keep having the second thought, that maybe condemns the first thought a little bit, you know, like in a Christian way, that first thought will slowly change. And it will, suddenly your first thought is, I love this person's valuable, or whatever it is.
Exactly.
I was just going to say, like, I feel like we, as a society, kind of feel like we have the right to comment on celebrities in a lot of ways.
Absolutely.
And I think, I remember when
if you're on TV,
when Ariana Grande was going, or the whole cast, honestly, was going through the Wicked tour, like, people were like, oh, she's skeletal. Oh, like, but those, I mean, it's not just in the real life. It's like your perception of the entire world, I feel like, as a parent, should start to shift. And those comments, I mean, like what you're saying, not just the things that you say out loud, but shifting your internal, I guess, observations with the second thought.
Exactly.
That's great.
Jenna, you've mentioned leading some young women in young life. How would you start a conversation with maybe one of your girls, like as a youth leader, about this?
Yeah, I think the conversation starter that we have for this, I really liked.
Yeah.
It's just, do you like how you look in pictures? I feel like there's a lot there that you can say. Most of the teenage girls that I talk to say, no, I don't. And that's why if you look at their camera, you see a cute picture on their Instagram, honey, look at her camera roll. She's going to have 300 pictures in the same spot because she's trying to get the perfect photo. And so I think that this is ripe for great conversation where you're able, like, I would feel so uncomfortable, I feel like, as a parent, to be like, what are you insecure about? Like, that's just, that feels bad. Like, if my mom asked me that, I would be like, I don't want to talk about this. But the conversation of, do you like how you look in pictures, is naturally going to bring up like, oh, I feel like my chin looks weird in pictures and I don't really like how that looks. And there's this girl I follow and she got this plastic surgery for that. And so sometimes I think like, maybe should I get that? And then, oh my gosh, you have this like amazing conversation about these things that your teen is thinking about. So I think that that's really the way to go. And then I think even like the second thought thing is really cool. And you can even like model that with your kids. Like if you see a house person and you make a comment, you can be like, oh, actually, like, let's pray for them for a second. Or like we can turn around and drop them off a granola bar or something. Like just you don't have to get it perfect the first time. And there's so much pressure about that. And when we're not naturally good at something, it's just like, well, it's fine. Like just letting yourself still be a work in progress in front of your kids, I think is super important.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that for sure.
This is a great conversation. There's so much here. And it's about a weird platypus face.
And it started with the platypuses.
Pusses, yep. All right.
Not pie. Not platypi. Changed my life.
Final thing this week, as we talk about this, be patient with my pronunciations of things. We are not Korean, turns out.
Arirang.
I'm not pretending to be. Yeah. BTS is back with Arirang, their first album since 2020. The album's release kicked off with a live show that was streamed on Netflix to 18 million people, with all 7 band members present, reuniting in Gwanghwamun Square. Yeah, I checked, but it's probably not correct. But this is a square that's actually very significant in Korean culture. It has ties to kind of the formation of their written language, but also their democracy, and it's very significant. So very intentional that BTS did the show here. And the album itself is named after a beautiful, beloved, and famous Korean folk song. So the band, like I said, is definitely highlighting and sharing Korean culture with their increasingly global audience. Obviously, the big news point, though, is that since 2020, we have not had a BTS album. They've been serving in the military and doing their own solo projects. And so this is a big comeback for, I think it's pretty safe to say, the biggest band in the world. Irene, what do you make of BTS's comeback and their continued popularity?
Yeah, I feel like they're gonna be like the new U2 almost. That is kind of, I feel like their size globally. At first, I was looking in the top 100 this morning, and I don't think it's been updated. Because it does a weekly update, right?
Yeah, we're looking at Billboard.
Yeah,
I think Billboard is a weekly. That's why sometimes Spotify is like.
So I think it's progressively climbing up the charts pretty quickly. At first, I was like, I don't listen to a lot of K-pop. It's kind of been something new that I've started.
You're one of those people who started with K-pop demon hunters. I knew it, Irene. You're a fake
Golden
K-pop
is
fan.
Still on the charts. It's still on the charts. It's wild. But so I went.
I still haven't watched it.
I will say this
man.
As we go into it. We are not K-pop fans, and people who are K-pop fans, you guys are really very good at being fans.
I would say I'm not a K-pop fan. I'm learning about K-pop.
And there's a lot to learn.
To learn. So I started listening to the BTS album, and I was like, okay, maybe I'm not really getting it, because it was kind of a lot to take in. It felt like I was listening to multiple genres in like a singular song. And even the transition between one song to the next, it was kind of a lot to take in. So then I went back and I listened to the Map of the Soul, which was the album that they released in 2020.
Yeah.
And that one is a lot different.
Yeah.
So there's obviously been some influence, and I think there's a lot of they brought on a lot of like Western style help for this album.
Yeah.
So
a lot of Western producers.
Right.
Like Ryan Tedder, who is a really famous producer.
Seriously? I didn't realize.
Yeah, he did kind of the back half of the album, and which it's not the first time they've worked with Western producers, but I mean, obviously that's going to bring some of that Western sound, because that's where those guys are coming from.
And I listened to a couple different reviews where some people said this is a great representation of Korean K-pop, and then others said this shouldn't really be classified as K-pop because it feels like it's primarily in English. So I'm learning about BTS, I feel like I have a long way to go.
When I started kind of looking up the album, knowing that we were going to write about it, it felt like that was the conversation to me that stuck out the most, was this kind of conversation about, is BTS being true to their Korean roots? Are they rejecting it? And Vulture reported that, and it's actually a documentary that when you listen to this will be live on Netflix, but I think they got early access to it. But they reported that in this documentary about the creation of the album and the build up to the live show, there's a part where they talk about their record label, quote, push for more English despite the guys' concerns about authenticity.
Yeah.
And, I feel that, right? Because part of it is like, they do have this global appeal. And how do you reflect that and respect that almost? Like, you have all these English listeners who want to engage with your music, and like, how do you invite them in?
But I think that what made them so big in 2020 was that it was just a representation, I feel like, of their culture and Korean, and now it feels like there's a little bit of a bigger shift.
Yeah, I think maybe the pushback to that, and I think maybe if you were to take the record label's perspective, like their biggest song was Dynamite, which was almost entirely in English.
Yeah.
And it was very Western. It sounded very Western. And then that My Universe song they did with Coldplay was another one of their like really, really widespread in the Western world. And so it's hard to disagree with, like, if you're looking at like, how do we get to the most ears?
Yeah.
Well, make it sound more like Dynamite, because that was our successful song. But at the same time, I'm like, I wonder if there isn't a world where like people are ready for like, it's Korean and it is Korean through and through. And I feel like the world's a different place in 2026 than it was in 2020. And I actually think the Western world is much more primed to embrace like, this is an Eastern
I agree with you completely.
art form. Like, anime is so popular. K-pop Demon Hunters is so popular. Like, I don't know. Jenna, I don't know if you have any thoughts about that, but...
Yeah, I don't have a lot of thoughts. It's not that I feel like this reminds me of this is probably what it feels like to not be a Swiftie.
Yeah.
Like, when people talk about Taylor Swift and then people are like, I don't think she's bad. I just don't listen to her. Like, that's how I feel with K-pop.
Yeah.
So, and I don't like yucking people's yum. Like, you like K-pop? Amazing. I'm so glad. So
totally.
Yeah. I think it's really cool. I listened to some of the songs, and I think that, I like what you're saying, CJ, of like, it's 2026. A lot of people love listening to music that isn't in English. Example, the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Obviously, that was a little controversial. But so much of the conversation on TikTok was like, you don't need to know the language of this. There's so many songs over the last 10 years that were like so popular that were not in English. Despacito, anyone?
Yeah.
Good old Justin.
Yeah. So I think it's something I've been just kind of processing of like, it feels like there is a little bit of a push for this like broader, almost like homogenized culture. And I just am like wondering if that's a good thing or a bad thing. And I kind of love, and I hope I'm not doing it in a weird, like touristy way, but I love hearing an artist represent their culture in a way that feels authentic. And they can do it without kind of feeling like they don't have to be themselves.
Yeah.
You know, and they don't have to like, well, this part of Korean culture, you know, people in America won't like it, so we gotta change it. And like that would make me sad if that happens. And it makes me think of, not to like, maybe to a little bit, but I was processing a little bit about like, when we talk about stuff at Axis, we try to think like, where does like a spiritual conversation come in on this? And one of the things I often think about is there's this idea at the end of all things, you know, humanity becomes unified together in a city and they're all together. And you get this beautiful picture in Revelation 7 where it says, and this is from Revelation 7, verse 9. It says, "After this I looked, and behold, a great multitude that no one could number, from every nation, from all tribes and peoples and languages, standing before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed in white robes, with palm branches in their hands, and crying out with a loud voice, 'Salvation belongs to our God, who sits on the throne, and to the Lamb.' And all the angels were standing around the throne and around the elders and the four living creatures, and they fell on their faces before the throne and worshiped God, saying, 'Amen. Blessing and glory and wisdom and thanksgiving and honor and power and might be to our God forever and ever. Amen.'" And one of the things I love about that verse is it's not like, and they're all speaking the same language. Like, it's like everyone is represented. And in my brain, maybe this is a little bit reading into the text, but I'm like, I wonder if like our cultures are represented in there too. But the thing that unifies people together is the fact that we are like all glory to God who's on the throne. And so it's okay that we have different cultures and different languages. Right. The thing that unifies us is this belief and this honoring of the Lord. And you talk to anyone who travels overseas, like it's one of the joys of being a Christian, is that you cannot speak the same language as someone. And the moment that you know that they love Jesus and they know you love Jesus, it's like you are brothers and you are connection point. Yeah, you are sisters. And I'm like, that's so great. And I think that's one of the beauties of the gospel is it doesn't like replace culture. You can be a Korean living in Korea and love Jesus. And actually there's a lot of Koreans who love Jesus. But like you can be part of your culture and the Lord doesn't change that. He redeems that culture. And that's one of my favorite things about faith.
Yeah.
That's really good.
And
I love that.
It's worth saying, like, I don't know if any of us in this room have like deep thoughts about the album itself. But if you have a daughter or a son who's like a big BTS, they're part of the army, you know?
You could work out to this album and be like, it's got like that a little bit of an aggression in some of the songs that feels pretty like get your pump. But
yeah, if you have a kid who loves them, like just talk to them about it.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to know a ton about it. Like
yeah, let them tell you about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom always has me explain what each Taylor Swift song actually means to her when I play it in the car. She's like, "So what's actually happening?" I'm like, "Well, this song is about Joe Jonas. And do you know how long the phone call was?" Like, I'm just like getting in all the weeds. So I think it can be intimidating as parents if you know your kid's into something that you're kind of, you know nothing about, but just keep asking more questions. When in doubt, say more.
I feel like that's a great conversation starter.
Is there anything that you would feels like should be said about this?
I feel like we covered it and I feel like in a place of, as much as we talk about BTS, I think that was great. Yeah.
So would you offer that same conversation starter if you were to leave people
I think that is great. I think it's perfect because I don't know that there are a ton of parents that are super versed in BTS language. So, I mean, I love that.
Yeah. Just as a reminder, what was the question? So we can say it here, right here, like talking about, explain to me this album and these songs. That was kind of the idea, right, Jenna?
Yeah, this works for like any album or anything, but just if you know your kid is a fan of something and you are hearing, oh yeah, I know they listen to BTS and it just came out, just asking your kid like, oh, what do you think of the new BTS album? And they might be like, it's cool. You can be like, okay, like what's your favorite song on it? This one.
Yeah.
Okay. And just like looking up the lyrics.
Like a perfect representation sometimes. You just gotta keep digging, parents.
Keep digging.
Exactly.
I
think
love it.
The most helpful question that I've learned in seminary so far is say more.
Yeah, say more.
Just following that up, especially if your kid's saying something crazy and you need to buy some time because you're like, wait, what's happening?
Say more.
Like they're talking to you about something. Tell me more about that. Say more about that.
Yeah.
Because very rarely are they like when someone has said that to me, I'm like, oh, and another layer has been unlocked. There you go. Like, I wasn't going to tell you that, but since you asked, like, I will. I think that's a little hack. But yeah, just asking them what they think about the album, listening to it yourself a little bit, getting acquainted with it. Yeah.
Great.
Well, thanks for tuning in to the Roundtable this week. On your way out, here's a quick survey of some of the rest of the cultural landscape. First up, it's sequel season for Kirsten Dunst, who I share a birthday with, so I always feel connected to.
That's fine.
The actress just signed on for the Untitled Minecraft movie sequel and The Housemaid 2 alongside Sydney Sweeney. Sydney Sweeney, not in the Minecraft sequel. She's in Housemaid 2, just to be clear. Kind of the sentence made it sound like that.
Minecraft went in a different direction.
The actress said, Kirsten Dunst said in an interview with Town & Country that she just wants to make a pile of cash. And I have a deep respect for that honesty.
Absolutely.
Honestly, real.
Get in that Minecraft movie, girl, and get your money. New Chappell Roan drama is trending after a claim that her security guard yelled at Jude Law's 11-year-old daughter at a hotel in Brazil. Some layers there. We're not gonna unpack those layers. Chappell Roan says the guard wasn't with her team and that she never even saw what happened. But the internet has already turned it into a round of who's to blame.
Classic.
Number 3, Sora, OpenAI's video app, is on the chopping block. The company is shutting it down, and Disney has walked away from its billion-dollar plan to put its characters in Sora clips after months of pushback over deepfakes, consent, and AI slop in entertainment. I will add a comment to this. The internet is reacting to this as the beginning of the death knell of AI. I don't know if that's true, but that is the way the internet is reacting to it. Jenna, would you agree with that? I feel like I've seen a lot of that conversation. That finally the AI bubble's popping. I don't know if that's true, but that's what people are. I mean,
it's true.
I will say this. We're not going to talk about this a long time. I will say this. It feels like it's the first time an AI company hasn't been given what it's wanted.
Yeah.
And which it just feels like they're just getting anything they want.
I just can't believe Disney was going to go in that direction.
It's crazy, especially because when Sora started, the first thing people did was make fake Pixar trailers that were all wildly inappropriate. So anyway, number 4, Chuck Norris, the martial arts star behind Walker, Texas Ranger, a show I watched a lot when it was just on TV. I think I've seen the entirety of Walker, Texas Ranger. Anyway, Chuck Norris, the martial arts star behind Walker, Texas Ranger, has died at 86. His family says he passed away on March 19th in Hawaii after a medical emergency. People are saying goodbye by bringing back the classic Chuck Norris facts jokes as a way to honor the icon who inspired them. Number 5, ABC has pulled Taylor Frankie Paul's upcoming season of The Bachelorette, and Hulu has paused filming on The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives after a domestic violence video involving Paul and her ex, Dakota Mortensen, resurfaced. This was a crazy week for this news story.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Because it was supposed to come out this week, so.
Yeah, and a lot of the contestants are suing ABC.
Whoa.
Because if you're a contestant on The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, it is like you get like immediately 100,000 followers on social media. Like it's like it's crazy. And so a lot of them, that's like they
gave up a chunk of time.
Yeah. So the decision to pull the show is bigger than just a comment about domestic abuse, which is not a good thing. You know, like it's like really sad,
really sad.
All the details around it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's really sad.
If you're curious about any of those things we just mentioned, we'll have the links in the show notes if you want to explore those further. For now, goodbye from Irene, Jenna, and myself, CJ, and we'll see you back here next week.
Bye, guys.
You never know what camera to look at. Bye to all of them.
Bye now. Goodbye. Thanks so much for watching. This podcast is made possible because of our generous donor community, The Table. To help us support more parents and other caring adults through culture translation, we love to invite you to check out The Table by clicking right here. Also, if you've been impacted by what we do, would you consider letting us know with a like, comment, or a subscription, as well as sharing this episode with someone who you think it could benefit? Thanks for caring about having intentional conversations with the next generation.